Welcome back, you guys. Tonight we're going to be working on a P10C. Had a special request to mount a Nikon Spur in the top rear section of the slide, keeping the factory dovetail and not hitting the barrel. Let's discuss that a little bit more, okay? Never done one of these. Kind of want to just take you guys through beginning to end, give you the feel and the thought pattern of what's going on here, maybe some of those challenges, and kind of just, I don't know, sort of just talk about it because it's a little bit of a different optic than what we don't normally see a request for. So currently we do the Trigicon, the Venom, the Shield RMSC. These optics will fit between the barrel and between the dovetail. So if you're looking for the configuration of utilizing the factory suppressor sights with your P10, because you don't want to cut the dovetail off, you'd either be using the Trigicon, the Vortex Viper, or the Shield RMSC. Comes out being that the Nikon Spur is actually kind of in the middle between the Trigicon and the Shield RMSC. So it's a little smaller than the Trigicon, but it's a little bit bigger than the Shield RMSC, and in theory, it should fit the slide. So we're gonna kind of go through that process today. I'm gonna cut that, we're gonna show it to you, and at the end, I'm gonna give you my opinion on it. I wanna talk about the optic itself. Customer reached out to me and said, can we do it? I did a little bit of research on it. Found out that the optic itself kind of hit the market back in, I would say, early 2018, really more so mid 2018. We're seeing a lot of them online where people have mounted them using an MOS or a MOS plate system, or the Picatinny rail system that comes with the optic on an AR or on a Glock. But what we're not really seeing is any companies that are actually offering the optic cut to a direct slide mount, which obviously lowers the optic to more of the center of the firearm instead of having it raised, right? So what we're really trying to approach here today, or get past the point here today, is that can this optic be utilized on several different makes and model firearms that are on the market today, and does it seem to be something that maybe should be a contender in when we're buying an optic? So with that being said, let's open this up. See what we got in here. So this is the factory box that comes with everything. Now keep in mind, we're not a reviewing channel, okay? I don't review products. A lot of guys on YouTube do that. I don't make recommendations to go to Brownells or Midway USA or Optic Plant to purchase something. I have no sponsorships through these guys. So really what you're seeing here is me as an individual for the company that I own and support doing the work on it, but I make no recommendation on any of the stuff other than what my customers bring to me to the table in order for me to do the job. So, and that's what we're doing here today. This is the job. So my opinion of the optic itself is really that you should go online and see if there's been any kind of stress tests, fail tests, crack tests, if there's been any kind of warranty issues. Those are the kind of things that you're going to want to do a little bit of research on from those guys that actually do the reviews of the optic itself in comparison to maybe some of those other optics that are on the market. So we're going to move this stuff aside. We've got some stuff from Optic Planet. We've got a little bit of cleaner, some documentation, and of course a warranty card. This is all stuff that you would get if you were to purchase one of these optics. So inside the box itself, and I've had this box open several times to kind of get a feel for what we're doing. We have a couple tools. We obviously have the optic itself. Underneath the optic, we have a little bit of like a Picatinny based setup that you could use on something like an AR, maybe an AK, something along those lines. We have a battery, a tool, we have another tool, and then of course down in here, because if they've fallen down in here, we have some screws. Now, one of the things to take into consideration, which in my personal opinion is a fail right out of the get-go, is that this hard cover, and I'm going to be the first guy to tell you I never use these, but this hard cover, it was extremely stiff trying to get the separation between the actual cover and the optic. One of the things that I consider a fail here is that the way in which you would pull this off is by the buttons. Okay, so that's kind of stupid because like I don't want to grip on the buttons to rip the cover off because then I'm kind of touching something that's actually crucial to the operation of the optic itself. So we're going to kind of fold the corner and see if we can kind of make this a little bit more user-friendly and get this off. Once again, the struggles that you're seeing here right now, this is after about 20 off and ons. So when you first get this, you're going to like probably need to sit down and grab a drink because it's going to take you a minute. So we're going to set this aside. A lot of what we have in here isn't anything that we're going to particularly be using. Let's talk about the optic. Let's talk about the differences between it and maybe some of the other optics that are on the market. So as we had kind of discussed, this optic fits between the Trigicon size-wise and the Shield RMSC. It's kind of a misleading idea here, and I want to explain that to you. The bottom of the optic from the rear to the front is shorter than the Trijicon. Okay, so in certain circumstances and in certain cut styles, one of those being the Glock, this is technically smaller. It would fit between the dovetail and the barrel without hitting the plunger hole. But keep in mind, it has another roll here. There's an extra ledge here. I'm going to add some pictures to it, but there's an extra ledge here. So as this optic is cut lower onto the slide, we start running into where if we want to get to a specific depth, we start hitting this roll. So we have to overcome that hurdle in order to actually get this mounted onto the slide, but yet still get to the depth that we're after, which would be somewhat of an industry standard of how low we're going to go, right? So there are some challenges that are here. It is shorter than the Trijicon, but keep in mind the hole, the very bottom of the footprint is shorter than the Trijicon. Overall, it really isn't. So it really comes down to, is the bottom area that we're cutting something crucial, like a plunger hole, maybe there's a pinhole, like on some of the H&Ks, and some of the things like that. So depending upon what we're putting it on, yes, indeed, it can have an advantage to it, but in some cases it may not, and it may actually be a hindrance into what we're doing. So with that being said, guys, I know that we're going to have some issues on this front zone here. That curve is going to pose a problem. Something else to take into consideration is the screw distances. So it comes with the 648 screws inside, which is your typical Vortex, Viper Venom base screw. I really like that because if we're putting it onto something like a smaller framed gun, maybe like a 43 or a Shield, that gives us the ability to actually have those screws more so on the actual slide and not so much on the edges of the slide, which may cause a problem. So overall, this is my first request to have this installed onto a slide. I do see where there could be certain applications in which this does trump some of the other optics that are on the market as far as quality, as far as possibly warranty, because they're local. The Shield RMSC is not. And obviously because of screw holes, because in some particular cases, the screws on the Trijicon are so wide it just won't work. So overall, I think that we have some benefits. We have some negativity here. There's a little bit of both. But at the end, does it work, right? So that's what we're gonna do now. We're gonna go ahead and get over the Tormach 770. We're gonna go ahead and get this mounted onto the optic itself. We are gonna be doing a little bit of cut work here. Obviously, we're gonna be doing a little bit of coloring work. I think we're gonna be going with that Jesse James Civil Defense blue as a color. Should be pretty cool overall. But I think if we run into any hurdles, any challenges along the way, midway, I think I might just stop the video, kind of tell you where I'm at with it. If it's something that I feel is detrimental to some of you machinists, I know a lot of you guys watch me, you kind of just feel for like what we're doing, like how we getting there. If there's something in the middle that like could be important to you, we might just cut it and talk about it and then bring it back. So we're gonna see exactly kind of what all that means, and this is definitely the first one of these I've had to do. Without a doubt, my gut feeling says that this curve is going to be a problem. I do believe it will be more challenging than all the other optics that are commonly requested as far as putting them onto slides. I think that roll there is going to pose a problem, and I do believe that that's probably why we're not seeing a lot of companies offer it, because it might just not be in their wheelhouse as far as something that they can overcome. So in the end, we're gonna see if we can do it. So we're gonna get over to the Tormach 770. Let's go ahead and get this cut.
Man, it feels like these walls are closing in. This roof is caving in. But it's time to raise it then. Your days are numbered like pages in my poker rhymes. Got 'em cooking, boy. This crooked mind of mine got 'em all shook and scared to look in my eyes. I stole that fucking clock. I took the time and I came up from behind and pretty much snuck up and butt fucked this game up. Better be careful when you bring my name up. Fuck this game, that ain't what I came to claim. But the game ain't gonna be the same on the days that I leave it. But I swear one way or another, I'ma make these fucking haters believe it. I swear to God, won't spare a ride. I'm a man of my word, so your fucking head's better not. Motherfucker around in this bitch and roast everybody. Sleep on me, that pillow is where your head alive. Permanently, bitch, it's steady by. This world is my Easter egg, get prepared to die. My head is full, my confidence is up, the stage is my pedestal. I'm unstoppable, incredible, hope you're trapped in my medicine ball. I can run circles around you so fast your fucking head is spin, dog. I split your cabbage and your lettuce and I'm the fucking criminal cop, killing hip-hop, filling a minimal swap to cop. Millions of pop listeners, you're coming with me, feel it or not. You're gonna fear it like I shows it, the spirit of God lives in us. The criminal cop, killing hip-hop, filling a minimal swap to cop. Millions of pop listeners, you're coming with me, feel it or not. You're gonna fear it like I shows it, the spirit of God lives in us. When I see you struggle, you come to me with ideas. You say that this piece is so impossible, cause the I hear is crazy. But you're either getting lazy or you don't believe in you no more. Seems like your own opinion's not one you can form. Can't make a decision, you keep questioning yourself, second guessing, and it's almost like you're begging for my help. Like I'm your leader, you're supposed to be my mentor. I can endure, no more demand you remember who you are. You pick me up, breathing life in me. I owe my life to you, before the life for me. I don't see why you don't see like I do. But it just dawned on me, you lost the sun. Team is fighting you, it's dark. Let me turn on the light.
All right, guys, let's take a couple minutes here and see exactly how this came out in the end as our final product. Extremely pleased with the overall visual of the Optic. I've had my hands on and off this Optic hundreds of times over the last several days, building a pattern, running a pattern, testing a pattern, altering a pattern, recutting a pattern. And it ended up being one of those deals where it was a really time-consuming process. I will easily say that this happens to be one of the more challenging optic cuts on the market versus some of the other ones that happen to be offered, like the Trijicon, the Viper, the Venom. This one just did not want to play well with that front roll right there. Now, something to take into consideration, and that is not every company is going to offer the service the same way, okay? So what that means is I want it to be a tight fit. I don't want it to be loose. I want it to make it where that roll in the front is almost seamless. There's no gap, no air. You can't see any light through it. So maybe my expectations might be a little bit more than maybe some of the other vendors that are out there offering that same service. And in the end, what that means is it is a little bit more challenging project for me because I want it to be done right and I want that service to be offered correctly. So with that being said, you can go to the webpage right now. You can go under the CZ, the P10. You are able to select the Nikon Spur as a optic of choice. Then of course you would ship your slide in and we would cut that for that. We don't have an optic here. We're going to get one of those on order, but our test pattern has been tested over and over and over again, so we're good to go there, and more than likely by the time you actually ship us a slide, we'll have one here. So guys, a couple of the other things to take note of. We have a nice sight picture, and it's going to be hard to see with the focus here, but we have a nice sight picture with what would be our rear iron to our front iron. Those are factory P10 suppressor sights. They work extremely well in conjunction with the Spur. There's no issues with with the alignment or not high enough. Can't see past the optic itself. Very, very nice overall. Of course, we're going to add some pictures to the video. I have this assembled with my gold barrel on my frame, so more than likely it's going to be a black barrel, black frame is what the customer has. But it kind of gives you a little bit of a visual of a completed firearm instead of just a slide with an optic on it. Overall, it was definitely challenging, but I'm really pleased with the visualization of how it fits, how well it fits, and also it gives us something else to choose from. So before we were only doing the Trijicon, the Shield RMSC, and the Viper, and now we happen to have the Nikon Spur. Shortly, we will be offering this as a service on the Glocks and on the M&Ps. We do want to run some tests on those to make sure everything's going to work accordingly, but you will start to see those pop up very, very soon on the webpage as an optic of choice during checkout. Very pleased with it overall. Jesse James Civil Defense Blue H401, nice color. Overall, just a really clean look. Triple top window there. Obviously, you're able to see some nice barrel. You guys had seen that in the pictures. And just a real great change from the factory P10 to what it is now. A lot of upgrades have been gone into this from that factory looking slide to where we are. Guys, one of the things I want to tell you is if you happen to not be following us on YouTube, Instagram, or Facebook, take a couple minutes. Go back and look through the content that we offer, what has been offered, some of the projects that we have done, and just kind of get a real feel for who we are as a company. It kind of gives you a better idea of when you do purchase a service or when you do reach out to us from the webpage. It kind of gives you a feeling of who you're dealing with, kind of what you're going to get, and expectations of what you're going to get back. We really want to be that one-on-one relationship and never really turn into that company that's so big that you're just a number and that's all you are. You're just an order number. We don't really want to turn into that. We always want to give our customers the ability to make small changes to the projects. And what that means is sometimes there's going to be a little bit of pushback. Sometimes we're going to have ideas that come across the table that maybe aren't good ideas, maybe just don't fit on that particular slide or that model slide. So sometimes we got to iron those out. We got to go back and forth a little bit. We have to really get a grasp of what we're trying to achieve in the end. What can we achieve in the end based off of the slide that we're working on? So there happen to be a lot of back and forth that goes into some of these builds, but in the end, we iron it out, we get those details turned out, and in the end, we get your project really turned out and into your hand. And you'll be really pleased with what you're getting versus a company that just says, yeah, we can do it, and they're making decisions for you. They're telling you, no, we really can't do that, so we're going to do it this way. That's not really what we do here. We really want to make sure that you're in the loop with what's going on with your hardware. So definitely follow us along on there. You guys are going to get that grasp. You're going to understand that feeling just a little bit more as you watch our other YouTube, as you do see the pictures that are posted up on our Instagram and the comments and the reviews that you're going to find over there on our Facebook. Feel free to go to the webpage. We have a growing service library. So as you go to services, you're going to pick basically a brand like Glock or M&P or CZ, and then you're going to start to see services under there that you'd be able to select and check out. During checkout, it's going to ask you things like, what are we doing with an optic cut? Are we keeping a dovetail? What color Cerakote are we going to be doing? It's going to give you all that stuff during checkout. So feel free to add that to your cart. You're going to get a box that's going to pop up, and it's going to give you a little bit more information of exactly those details on your build. Guys, if you happen to need anything at all, feel free to use that contacts tab or just shoot me a text. My number is on the web page. More than likely you'll get me by text than you will by a call, because I'm usually running machines, and that's just kind of what we're going to do. So let me know if there's anything I can help you with, and you guys can check me out on the next video. Thanks.